We're here at Lower Bridge Campground, Deschutes National Forest here in Central Oregon. Let's go check out the campsites. Okay, so we have 12 campsites here at Deschutes National Forest, Central Oregon. This is Lower Bridge Campground. Great junction for both East Metolius and West Metolius River trails. Kind of a small campground, about 12 here in Metolius River National Recreation Area. So we're coming up to campsite 1 here on our left. Bit of a shoulder parking situation. There's room for a parking spot here in front of the Ponderosa Pine, on the other side of the Ponderosa Pine. Here's our brown post, and here is National Wild and Scenic Metolius River. If you're curious why it's called Lower Bridge, there you go. It's a landmark. There is the Lower Bridge. Here is Metolius River. Here's our picnic table. Here's our fire pit. We will come around here. So as far as lot lines, not great. I mean, that is 2 right there. So to me, this is what I call mosh pit camping. Good for maybe like a family reunion, big group of people, Boy Scouts, whatever it is. Like you get a couple sites and put them together. Over there is kind of our signage, dumpster, beginning of the logistics of the campground. But you see, if you're here at your picnic table, you got a straight shot to their picnic table, straight shot to their fire pit. You can see this is a bit of a mosh pit camping situation, not well spaced out, more of a base camp vibe. So I talked about the negative as far as the privacy lines, but here's the big positive. Right from your picnic table, you're staring at the shoreline of beautiful National Wild and Scenic Metolius River. Got your fire pit here, very well situated, so you can sit at it, angled towards the river. Look how crystal clear that is. You can see right to the bottom, even from where I'm standing right here. That is gorgeous. You pan back and show you the sun trying to break through these gray, ominous clouds. Today is November 6, 2025. It is fall, it is shoulder season. It's in the 50s right now, a little windy, very comfortable. Oh, look at that. You do have the view of the bridge right there. Again, that is the namesake of Lower Bridge Campground. And you can sit here and have a snack, read your Kindle, read your iPad, and kind of enjoy the beauty and the majesty that is Metolius River. This is beautiful, my friend. Let's walk around here, see if you're sitting right at your fire pit. It's a really deep fire pit, first of all, but to give you the bird's eye perspective, I'm sitting at my fire pit, I'm at the lower bridge, and I'm walking around here. You got a nice gently sloped access point right into the river. I don't know if it's coming through, but you can see right to the bottom, like that is crystal clear Metolius River, like money shot. This is a particularly wide section of the river right here. This is pretty magical. This is why you're here at Metolius River National Recreation Area. So that was site 1. Remember, that was all the signage logistics for just the beginning of this campground. Probably the only ding against it is it's uncomfortably close to site 2. If you're 2 private parties, you can see a spigot there on the other side of the fire pit from 2. So I will continue along. Site 1, not the best privacy lines, but world-class shoreline access to Metolius River. Here is site 2. So as far as parking, kind of an interesting observation. See the little post here for 2, so you know I'm not a woofin'. That's got a real parking spot where you actually can park there. 1 did not. See, 1 just has shoulder situation. So if you want a proper parking spot, 2 is better than 1. Here's your picnic table fire pit. I don't like the picnic tables right up against where you park. It's not very good spacing. You do have a money shot here of Metolius River, so wow. Your eyes are bulging with excitement. If you are a fan of rivers, if you're a river aficionado, one thing I do like, you got your fire pit right here, oriented, angled towards beautiful Metolius River. So here's our fire pit. Imagine setting up your cabela's chairs, whatever you got. You're looking up at the river. I'll pan back and show you because the sun's trying to peek through these gray, ominous clouds. But you do have a direct river shot, so that's nice. Remember over here, you've got Lower Bridge, you do have the fire pit for 1. I'll also say, looking over here, you see bang bang, you got the next couple campsites. So definitely a mosh pit camping situation. You do have the spigot right here. As far as where to put your tent, a little choose your own adventure. I'd probably be inclined to put my tent over here somewhere, either straight ahead right there or right over here. Oh, look at that, that is gorgeous. I gotta say, I'm a little distracted by the beauty, mesmerized by National Wild and Scenic Metolius River. This is magical. And there's our bridge. Here is our beautiful river. Oh, look at that. Look at that. The beautiful Metolius River. Okay, so for bearings, that's site 1. Here's our beautiful Metolius River. Here's site 2. They are comfortably close together. And then as you can see, kind of row housing style, you have 3 and then presumably 4, and then I can even see 5 over there on the right. So you kind of have that row housing vibe, like it's just one big swath of flat forest with like 5 campsites. It's not really, each site isn't individually carved with its own privacy lot lines, its own privacy screens or angles. It's just kind of a mosh pit base camp area that happens to have several campsites strewn about it. So that is the nature of Lower Bridge Campground. Makes it more suitable for a group play, getting a few sites together, like Boy Scouts or church picnic or, a family reunion, whatever it is, big group get together and take over Lower Bridge Campground. I think that could be really fun. Little less optimal if you're a single family looking for a private experience because the lot lines are not the best. So that was 2, and that was 1 next to it. Again, there's our Lower Bridge namesake for this campground. Let's continue along. So we got site 3 over here. See the picnic table right there. This one also has its own long driveway, which is nice. 1 was the only one that didn't seem to. There's 4 and 5 over there. So let's come over here. Very long driveway. Well, I guess it kind of stops right here because you got a little trail goblin right there, and then you got a rock right there. So you kind of park up to right here. I'm kind of at the end of the parking. So here's our picnic table, here's our fire pit. This is our usable square footage for site 3. I will say you got another site over there, presumably 4, and another one over there. So I'm a super fan of Deschutes National Forest. I'm a super fan of Metolius River National Recreation Area, a lot of nomenclature, but I don't really like, frankly, how this area is cut. I mean, look, you got 1 and 2 right there, bang, bang. You got the bridge on the other side. Then you got a spigot there, and then you got 3, then you got 4, another spigot, then you got 5. So you're really in a situation, if this area is at capacity, where you have 5 parties, all like in one mosh pit central forest zone. Now the forest zone is beautiful. Deschutes National Forest is awesome, and Metolius River is obviously awesome, but not that privacy screened, individually crafted, meticulously carved campground type design that I personally covet. So a little bit of a strike against it. Remember, there's 15 campgrounds here in Metolius River National Recreation Area, so you don't have to settle on privacy lines unless this is your cup of tea, and this is more of a group play environment in my humble opinion. So here I'm at the picnic table of 3, and you can see you're staring at 4. In fact, I can get 4 and 5 in one frame. I will also say that I think they exacerbate a little bit. For some reason, they put the fire pit right here, and if you want to now come use your fire pit, they're kind of forcing you to focus your perspective on your new close trusty friends over at site 4. So they're kind of forcing you to be angled towards 4 and frankly angled towards 5. So I think that's a miss, because right now here, this is our fire pit. I don't know why they didn't put the fire pit more that way. That would have given you a little bit better privacy lines and focused you more on the river. So now if you're sitting at the picnic table here at site 3, you don't have like a money shot of the river, but you do have a good sense of the river. Like you got the silhouette, you got the background noise, which is nice, but it's not just like a bang shot. So you do have spigot choices from 3. You can go over to the spigot next to 2 over there, or you could go over, there's a spigot right over there, see, in front of 4. So you're kind of right between 2 spigots. So you're rich with spigot options. As far as where to put my tent, I'd probably push it back here as far as you can, maybe in front of that log straight ahead. Like the farther you shade it over here, the better your privacy sound and lines are going to be. So I'd probably put my tent right about here. Now you're getting a little better views of the river, which is nice. This is the edge of the campsite, and then you got this world-class Metolius River National Recreation Area, National Wild Scenic Metolius River. I will also say, just something to be aware of, having done the hike myself, you see across the way, you've got the bridge. Over there is the trailhead for Metolius River Trail. So right on the other side of the shoreline is actually a trail. You can kind of make it out. In fact, you can make it out pretty well over here. So you will have people hiking right there. So that is a very popular hike, particularly in summer. Right now, it's November, there's nobody here, but during summer, you will see a steady stream of people. The other side of this bridge is West Metolius River Trail. So this is a big junction point. People will be on West Metolius River Trail. They'll cross the bridge there, and then they'll come over here, and they'll actually keep going on a 13.5 mile hike, super hike that does all the highlights of the area. So they will literally be hiking right on the other side of the river and actually make out the trail like right there. So you'll have a steady stream of hikers on the other side of the river, So that kind of has a negative impact on your privacy lines. It's not a big deal, but just be aware, you will see several parties probably walking across the other side of the river, and people kind of walking across the bridge. The bridge is also very popular for fly fishermen, for obvious reasons. So this is a big like bustle of activity area. And from having been here many times in the past, this is also a very popular RV campground. Let me pan back right here to show off the epicosity that is Deschutes National Forest, big wide swath of forest, so pretty epic. And you can see 4 and 5 right there. So that was site 3. Lower Bridge is pretty interesting because this is just kind of a different eclectic campground, kind of, as I said, a flat zone mosh pit type campground, base campy, very RV popular and friendly. So standing here at the picnic table for 3, I'm basically right next to 4 with no line of sight breakage, and I'm right next to 5. So these don't really have the best privacy lines. I don't feel like this was really crafted with privacy in mind, Great shade, big beautiful trees, but not really a idyllic, privately carved, single family, idyllic destination campground, keeping it real. Let's continue along. We got 4 and 5 over here. 4 and 5 are a little wishbone-y, I call them, and that sounds good, but it's actually a bad thing. They emanate from the same point, kind of branch off, so they normally have poor privacy lines between the two of them. So remember, that was 3. Here's our pillar for 4, brown pillar, that's 4. Here's 5, here's our pillar for 5. So 4 and 5 are like right on top of each other, like I'm right in the nexus. Again, there's 4, there's 5, there's our brown pillar for 5. So 4 and 5, the privacy lines between the two of them for me is a deal breaker. So I will say 4 right now, this is a super long driveway. So like you got a long RV, of course, check Recreation.gov. Let me show you, there's a spigot right there. There's 3, there's 2. But this is a super long driveway, assuming great for an RV, but check Recreation.gov. Defer to them, not me. I'm just a guy walking around rambling. So here is 4. You got your fire pit, you got your picnic table. Remember, 5 is right there. Wah, wah, wah. If you're a private family looking for kind of a secluded, magical forest experience, this is way too close with some strangers. And if you grab 4 and 5 together, you're in a better situation. That may be a good group play. Okay, so from standing at 4, you got the spigot there. You've got a straight line of sight to 3, their picnic table and their fire pit. Again, this was 4. We do have this little primrose path. Now I will say, remember, we have 5 right here, kind of have this wishbone situation. So as far as our shoreline access, this looks like our little primrose path to the shoreline. Again, remember, Metolius River trails on the other side of the river, so we'll have hikers on the other side, part of the cost of doing business here at Lower Bridge Campground. So this is premium. I mean, look at this. This is world-class access. This is actually a great fly fishing zone. Crystal clear, mountain glacial runoff water. Put on your hip waders, go out there with your fly fishing just downstream from Wizard Falls Fish Hatchery. If you happen to like salmon, then this might be the area for you. So this looks great, man. I mean, look at this. This is a world-class dream, kind of a forest river alpine wonderland zone. Like, this is epic. I mean, this is truly epic, actually. Add the word truly in front of it. Like, this is magic. I also say this water is like crystal clear. Like, I can see the bottom. I can see every single rock in the water right there. I don't know if that's coming through, but that's world-class river. I mean, that's like crystal clear mountain glacial runoff water, my friend. And you see over there, that is the Metolius River Trail. You'll have hikers over there. So this is a really high quality access point. We come back around here. So this is our world-class shoreline river fly fishing access point. Walk right into the water in your waders, or you can just cool off, take a dip on a nice summer's day. So this is accessible really from 4. As you can see, this is like our own little primrose path from 4. So if you come over here, you see 5, and remember we were just looking at 4 over here. They're so on top of each other, it's a little gray as far as who even has domain over this access point. I would argue it's probably shared between 4 and 5. So I wouldn't say this is the sole dominion, even though there's this little primrose path here from 4. I wouldn't say this is the sole dominion of 4. I think this is a shared access point for 4 and 5. So not only are 4 and 5 on top of each other as far as their parking and their line of sight from the picnic table, but they basically have a communal access point. Granted, it's a very high quality communal access point, world-class fly fishing, swimming, and obviously Metolius River is pure magic, and maybe the majesty and the awesomeness that is Metolius River is worth having to share this access point with 5, but it's a little suboptimal if you're looking more for a privacy play, because I don't think you could argue this is the domain of 4 or 5. I think it's for both of them. Candidly, keeping it real. So here's the parking for 5, and remember here was 4. 4 and 5 kind of emanate from the same spot. That's not good for privacy lines. 5's got not as deep of a parking. 4 had a much deeper parking. So you come over here. This is our parking for 5. Remember, there's our picnic table for 5. Not the best privacy lines with 4 right there. There's our spigot, and there's 3 over there. Said it before, I won't be repetitive, redundant. This is kind of mosh pit style camping, not good privacy lines. So you park here. You do have this line of demarcation, this long log. You do have another site right there, presumably 6. So you got them over there, but you have this line of demarcation. This is kind of your land over here. Here's your picnic table fire pit. Right across from 4, no breakage. There's 3. Again, there's a spigot right there next to 4. That's probably the spigot you would use. Here's your picnic table, fire pit. I'll come over, show you the line of sight directly from the picnic table. So a little close to 4 for my taste. So 4 or 5 is absolutely a deal breaker for me, but I want to show the positive and the negative. Be open-minded. I like where the fire pit is because it's oriented towards Metolius River. So you can sit here, look up, and kind of stare and enjoy, get lost. The beautiful sights and sounds of Metolius River. Maybe bring your iPad or your Kindle, read. Kind of a fun environment, really beautiful. I will say, just like I said from 4, they both kind of share this access point straight ahead. World-class shoreline access to Metolius River, fly fishing, swimming, whatever it may be. So you come over here and look at that. I mean, you could walk right into the water, hip waders, swim, whatever it may be. Crystal clear water. You can see every single rock to the bottom, which is very nice. So that was 4 and 5. Let's continue along. That was kind of its own cluster of 5. And then the campground road kind of weaves over to a whole nother section. You got a spigot here on the left, kind of a narrow section of the road as far as an RV. So be careful right here. I drive a Jeep wagon here. I drove through it and I feel like I had to be careful in that section. It's not that crazy, but something to take note of. Here is 6. Kind of a weird parking situation. Again, that's our spigot. We're looking down on 4 and 5. It's kind of a shoulder parking. It's not real deep, not really RV friendly, I would say. Kind of more for like an SUV, a Subaru type situation. There's our sign. It says 6. Longer than normal picnic table compared to the other ones. Right up against the shoreline. Stop and back, show you the epicosity of this Deschutes National Forest. Fire pit on the right there. Yeah, that picnic table is like longer than all the other ones. I like it. I dig it. So nice picnic table. You can sit at the picnic table oriented towards the river. You do have this underbrush section of trees between you and the river. So it's not like a pristine shoreline. Don't get it twisted. But I will also say, just because of our lot lines here, the cluster, the mosh pit of 1 through 5 over there is kind of out of your way. This one feels more private. You got this tree blockage. Looking over there, you got blockage. So you actually have better privacy lines here at 6. I like that the fire pit is more towards the river. That also helps. So you can put your chairs here. There's a little side trail over to some of the other campsites, and that might actually extend just as a shoreline trail in itself. And then, of course, you have the access down here. Probably put your tent straight ahead. I will say you also have this line of demarcation breakage. I talked about it from 5. Kind of gives you a sense of your boundaries, which I appreciate. Probably put your tent straight ahead underneath these trees for shade. As far as river access, right here, even though it seems like it could be cool, is actually not that cool because that's not a very premium section. It's kind of a dirty section of river. So I really wouldn't want to like fly fish or swim right there. Like you could take a dip right there. Like you got your swim trunks on and you get in there, what is like ankle deep. Like that could be refreshing. And it's a very safe area. Like, you know, you always have to practice situational awareness, do so at your own risk and worry about drowning, but very low drowning risk right there. Obviously it's not the free flowing part of the river that up there is. So pretty safe area as far as rivers go, but there's always an element of danger. So 6 is interesting. It's definitely offset from the original cluster of 1 to 5. It's kind of its own little island. Now, if you really were more adventurous, you could kind of use this little crossing, go over that log, and now you're in the river. I kind of like that, actually. So let's say you bring your family and you have younger kids, they can play right here, knowing, you know, you still got to watch them, but it's kind of a safe area to play. And then like the adult, if he wants to fish, can go over there, go across the log, and now all of a sudden, look, that's like a pristine section to fly fish. So you could actually really make this area work for you with a little creativity and gumption and determination. And again, you got your fire pit, You got pretty good breakage with the sites over there because this isn't the end of the line, just because you got some trees right there. So 6 is actually pretty good. I'd say 6 is the best one so far for what I'm looking for, because it just is away from the cluster of 1 to 5. You do have one on the other side over there, but you'd probably block that with your own car and maybe their car. So probably not a direct line of sight. So even though this isn't like the most pristine section, like I'd say like Pioneer Ford or Allen Springs down the road would have a more pristine section than this. This is still a pretty high quality one that if you use it right can actually be a pretty amazing site, like a destination worthy site. So 6 is the best so far, keeping it real. So there's 12 sites here. This is site 6, so we're halfway in. Out of the first 6, I actually think I like 6 the best. It's kind of its own little oasis from that cluster of 1 through 5, which is like one big mosh pit over there. 6 has the line of sight breakage, the demarcation lines. It doesn't have the prettiest little section of river, but if you use it right, you got a safe area for kiddos to get wet, and then you do have a little fly fishing shoreline on the other side of that log. You just got to climb over to it. So I really actually like 6. I think 6 is a hidden gem, really high quality site. Best one so far here at Lower Bridge Campground. Let's continue along my friend. Here's 7. It's an inner, it's not on the shoreline, it's already a strike against it. Looks like it's got a little bit of a roundabout. Check Recreation.gov to see if this is RV friendly. I'm not really a big fan of this one, keeping it real. You got your picnic table, fire pit, nothing really special. It's just kind of an inner forest play. Ooh, you can see over there, you got another fire pit. So you got good restroom access, but you're kind of in the inner forest, landlocked. I call these landlubber sites. Nothing really special about it, nothing going on for it. It does have a roundabout, that's about it. You do also have 8 on the other side, but wouldn't you rather be over at 6 up against the river or over at 8 up against the river rather than just kind of landlocked right here? So not a fan of 7. 7 to me is a base camp, 3 squares and a cot mentality. I was gonna go hiking or boating or rafting or fishing. I just needed a base camp. I wouldn't spend my whole day at 7, it's not good. Okay, here is 8. I think 8 is much better. Here's what I'd say. If I'm gonna come bother to be here at Metolius River National Recreation Area, I'm gonna try to be on the shoreline. Call me crazy, but it's a world-class river, one of the best rivers in the country, and I wanna be camping on the river, darn it. 15 campsites to choose from. Why pick an inner? We come down here, picnic table, fire pit. I like the way this is situated. This one's got what I call good feng shui. Like you walk up to it and the angels are starting to sing. Like you just feel good. You pan back, you got some real epic old growth trees like our legend, so that's good. Okay, so here's our picnic table fire pit for 8. You got 2 more down there, a bit of a row, and 1 over there and 1 over here, as well as our restroom. For some reason, Lower Bridge Campground's like cluster style. It's like a cluster of 5, all in kind of, again, one kind of mosh pity area. At least these ones are right up against the shoreline of Metolius River. So picnic table, fire pit, again, you got a couple over there. In fact, I'll come over here and show you the privacy lines. At least you got a tree right here, which kind of breaks it up. But if you got another family right there, you can definitely send some. See their fire pit on the left, picnic table on the right, and then you got another one over there, get another one over there, another one over there. There's your restroom back there. So a little suboptimal. I will also say, let me come around here. You got a great shot of the river just sitting here. So I dig that. You have this interesting log here. You could strew your gear about or sit on it as a chair, like a long bench. I will also say on the other side of the river is Metolius River Trail, so you will see some people hiking across the other side of the river, moseying on by. You probably see a handful, a couple dozen people maybe, depending on how busy it is, what month you come, July, August, September, etc. So it's a very popular hiking area. You're right up against the river and you're right on the other side of one of the main trails. So keep that in mind. Not a big deal, not a deal breaker, but this isn't like pristine pin drop. Like you're not going to see human being the time you're here. Like this is a hustle and bustle zone. That said though, I would say this is a pretty high quality picnic table view as far as river views go, because I'm here at my picnic table and I'm just staring at Metolius River going by with this tree kind of in front of it, framing it. So this is pretty beautiful. Let's walk around and check out our access points from the site. This has pretty good square footage, definitely not claustrophobic, feels good. So you got a big wide swath of Metolius River. So this is cool. This feels like this could be your own private domain. Let's see if this is river access or if this is just a trail to the next site. Because I remember seeing the other site had one. Okay, so this is just a side trail to site 6. So don't get too excited about that. Site 6, for some reason, has its own side trail that comes over to site 8. That's a little suboptimal. That's not great. And then coming over here, See if we actually get any better river access. Please be kind to me, spiderwebs. Nobody's probably walked through this in a while. Hey, no spiderwebs, I got lucky. Okay, so we're right off the edge of Site 8, and this is kind of domain of 8. This looks like a trail. I think this is a trail system. Shoreline of Metolius River. Here's a little access point. It says restoration site, so be careful where you step. Don't want to disturb that. Here's clearly our trail, and then we have a little 5-step stone system down into Metolius River, so that's cool. So if you're a fly fisherman, that's a dream. Look how crystal clear that water is. It's magic. Again, I will point out on the other side of the way is Metolius River Trail, hiking Wonderland Zone. That takes you all the way to Candle Creek Campground on the other side from this Lower Bridge trailhead. But you got walk into the water, literally, river access. Here on the shoreline of Metolius River, you literally walk down these stone steps, and this is here at Site 8. I will walk back. So I gotta say, Site 8's interesting. It's got good square footage, picnic table, fire pit. You do have your neighbor right there, slightly uncomfortably close together. I really do like this log. Kind of gives a break up between your site and the trail on the other side of it. You could also sit on it like a bench, put your gear on it. It does give you one access point with stone steps down into the water for fly fishing. Kind of your private access point, I'd say, from Site 8. So 8's really good. I like 8. I think 6 and 8 are definitely the two best so far. If I'm coming to Lower Bridge, I'm doing 6 or 8. Who do I appreciate? Let's continue along, my friend, to Site 9. So there's only 12 here, so we're like 75% done at the next one. As we continue along, so see, we got one right here, we got one over there. This is definitely kind of a mosh pit cluster. I feel like they grouped these all way too close together. Try to do these numerically in order. 9's on the left, 11's on the right, there's 10, where there's 12. So they're kind of bang, bang, bang. But here's 9. Here's our nice long driveway. Driveway's great. Check to see if that's good for an RV at Recreation.gov. Looks like it would be to me. I will point out, you got your neighbor right there, which is 10. A little close together. Coming around here, here's our picnic table, fire pit. Beautiful section of Deschutes National Forest. Like, this is on point. So you see that picnic table right there, that is Site 8. So 8 and 9 are a little uncomfortably close together, but if you can get them both together as a group play, now you're in business. So that's 8, this is 9. I really like where they put the fire pit situated towards the river. I will also say the view from the picnic table at 9 is particularly high quality. Maybe the best one here other than 1, but 1 did have the hustle and bustle of the bridge, which is a lot of activity. Imagine sitting right here and just kind of staring at the river. You can just kind of sit back, reflect, contemplate the meaning of life, bring your iPad or your Kindle or whatever it is you do, and just kind of hang out and kind of zen out and get lost in the majesty of National Wild and Scenic Metolius River and Deschutes National Forest, Alpine Forest River, Wonderland Zone. Oh, this is beautiful. So I'm digging this. Like, this is a world-class view sitting from your picnic table, maybe the best one of this entire campground, Site 9. I do like where your fire pit is. Let's walk around and look at that. So if you put your chairs in front of it, let's say the Cabela's chairs, whatever you got, you're sitting right here, and bam, money shot. Like, this is magic. A relaxing river going on by, moseying on by, lulling you into a zenful bliss. This, my friend, is beautiful. A little bank of the river over there on the right as it snakes its way through Deschutes National Forest. I will point out, remember, on the other side of that, you do have Metolius River Trail. It's from Lower Bridge to Candle Creek Campground. So you will have a handful of people hiking by there, but I don't think that'll disturb your zen. That'll be a handful of people, few and far between. So let's come down here and check out our access. This is pure magic, my friend. Like, this is the edge of Site 9, and this is really beautiful. Like, today's November 6, 2025, so the yellows of the autumn spectrum are really actually kind of making it pop even more. Most of the year, this is probably green, and right now it's yellow, so I think this is particularly on point. Got the fall foliage, the autumn colors, so very beautiful. Really digging it, but really beautiful zone. I really like 9. Like, 9 is high quality. I don't think you can go wrong with 9. 9, 8, and 6 are definitely the 3 best here at Lower Bridge Campground thus far. We're about 75% done. So I dug that. Particularly like the view from the picnic table. Like, that was world class. I will come back around here one more time and just do the lot lines. So I will say, feather in the cap, if you're sitting here at 9, they did put a tree between 9 and 8 to break it up a little bit, so that's good. 8 and 9 are a little uncomfortably close together, but if you can get them both as a group play, now you're winning at life. I think 8 and 9 are the best so far, followed by 6. I gotta say, I particularly love the view from your fire pit of beautiful Metolius River. Look at that. All right, so that was 9. 9's legend. Continue along to our last Shoreline one, which is right there. That is 10. It's the end of the line. Then we got 11 and 12 are both inners to a degree. So here's 10. There's a little brown post. Be aware that 12 is right there. That's the picnic table fire pit. Like, that's the sign right there. Little brown post, but it's over here because it's kind of in your business. That's 12. Here's 10. Here's our nice long driveway. Check Recreation.gov, but I would assume this is very RV friendly, a very nice long flat driveway. You're right on the edge of the campground, so this is seeming like really high quality picnic table fire pit. Yeah, this one feels really good. Great feng shui. 9's over there, not like ideal, but not the worst either. I mean, frankly, 8, 9, and 10 are all good. Here's our picnic table fire pit. So if I'm sitting here at my picnic table, I do have 9, but if their car's blocking it, then it's not even an issue. That could be the win right there. See the rocks there, that's their driveway. So if they park like a big RV there, you wouldn't even see their picnic table, and then, you know, what am I complaining about? So that's cool. Coming over here, probably put your tent on either side of this log. Probably on the left side of the log right here. Kind of looks like your domain. So that's very nice. So this is site 10, that was site 9. I will say, very important to understand, that's 12 over there. Between 10 and 12, you have this little Primrose Path hiker trail access point. This is for day users, you don't have to be camping here to do this. See straight ahead, that is actually a hiker trail. And then that connects over here. So you're right on the edge of the hiker trail. Just on the other side of this log. And come down here, I've actually seen this in all trails, so this is like a real hike. It says hiker trail, trails for hiker use only, no motorized vehicles, etc., etc. So this is an actual hiking trail. It's a continuation of Metolius River Trail, you know, paralleling beautiful Metolius River. Shoreline ultimately goes, I think, up to the opposite side of Candle Creek Campground. Keeps going for a bit. So hiker trail, be aware of that. So again, like right now, I'm on the hiker trail. This is the hiker trail. So hiker trail, see, I'm hiking right now. Look at me, I'm a hiker. This goes right between 12 straight ahead and 10 right there. So as far as your privacy lines, you'll have people walking where I am. So if you were looking for like an ultra private experience, then this might not be what you're looking for because you will have hikers kind of going right next to you. That said though, I really like this. I think 10 is really high quality, 9, 8. I think Lower Bridge Campground is actually a pretty decent campground. None of these are like dream idyllic, but they're really high quality. 8, 9, and 10, this bang, bang, bang straight ahead. A little close to each other, but really high quality shoreline access. Is a idyllic base camp here at Metolius River. Get your fly fishing on, get your hiking on. I'm a fan of 8, 9, 10. So that was 10. I thought 10 was pretty high quality. Could sit here at your picnic table and just kind of enjoy the majesty that is Metolius River. Not really a money shot, but a good silhouette and kind of a good vibe. I would say the ambiance is pretty high quality. You just kind of zen out here in Metolius River, so I am digging it, my friend. Site 11, again, spigot, fire pit, picnic table, landlubber site, landlocked, not up against Shoreline and Metolius River. Why would you want to be at 11 when you can be across the way at 8, 9, or 10 and be right up against Metolius River Shoreline? Doesn't make sense to me, my friend. Let's continue along. Here's 12. This is the end of the line. As you can see, the campground ends. So this is the edge of glory. Nice long driveway that's going for it. It's a little past the sweet spot of the curve because 10 over there was kind of the end. You see between the trees right here, that's the end of Metolius River. So nice long driveway, but it doesn't really have the Metolius River access. So I'm not really a fan of 12. Picnic table, fire pit. You can see kind of got some rolling hills over here to the right. That's nice. But beyond that, you would think being on the end would be good, but in this case, it's just one notch past the sweet spot. So here's your picnic table, here's your fire pit. Standing here, look how far we are away from Metolius River. In fact, see the picnic table right there, that's 10. Not the best privacy lines, but wouldn't you rather be sitting at 10 looking at the river than sitting here? Also remember, see right here, see these two brown posts? That is basically the trailhead for hikers. So you'll literally have hikers using this right here as their trailhead, and then hiking down here. Okay, so I just walked all 12 campsites here at Lower Bridge Campground, Deschutes National Forest, Central Oregon. Here are my thoughts. There's 15 campgrounds here in Metolius River National Recreation Area. So, and a lot of them kind of are designed for different types of target markets, different types of camping experiences. I would say this is a bit of a mosh pit camping zone. I think a lot of it is just kind of a big empty forest zone with a lot of picnic tables, great for a group play, maybe a big family reunion, a couple friends get together, Boy Scouts of America type deal. Beyond that, I would say there's 4 really good sites. I happen to be walking by them right now. 10, 9, 8, and 6 are all shoreline. The privacy lot lines between them are not necessarily idyllic, but they're above average. And each one kind of has its own little primrose path down to Metolius River for fly fishing, just swimming, cool yourself off on a nice hot summer day. So I would recommend 10, 9, 8, and 6 from a single family, private party, privacy maximization, shoreline maximization point of view. The other 8 of the 12, candidly, I would probably skip. Not really my cup of tea, poor privacy lines, no feature, kind of more of a group play. So 10, 9, 8, and 6, I think those are the 4 best here at Lower Bridge Campground. Again, remember there's 15 campgrounds here, different strokes, different folks. I take a look at all 15 before you decide which one to do. There's no reason to settle. You got some world-class camping around here. And I happen to have campground reviews of all 15 at Wilderness Trail Perspective.